Today, you want to really ramp your speeds up as you're getting closer so you can get more and more, towards the mark as we're going to go. We also named game captains on this day. So each game, we named 3 captains that will lead us. And so on offense, Laramie Tunsil, and I thought just described him as consistency and all the work that he puts in. It shows up on game day, that consistent work. On defense, it'll be Johnny Newton. And so Jay-Z's, he's growing, resilient. And that's a guy that's got a lot of battle to him. He's been banged up, played hurt, went for it. A lot of guys lean in, man, and he's one that does that. And then on special teams, Nick Ballore. I thought the speed, the hitting, what he demonstrates on that, on the cover unit, that's going to be a big part of this game, and field position. So Nick will lead us in that. And so as far as the week goes, we've had our head down, getting ready. But one thing that's cool to share with is our stadium. It's actually right near the hotel. And you feel the energy of this great city and the game. And so we're really pumped to be part of the first game in Spain. So ready to get rocking with you guys and get started.
Over to your right. And speaking to that, obviously you have a job to do and get your team ready. Have you had a chance to have it sink in to what it means for Dan Quinn and the Commanders to be a part of this very first game here? You know what
you do, Chick, on the bus rides over to here, to the practice facility here, and you go right past the stadium, man. It's the coolest on the way here. Maybe it's a 15 or 20-minute ride, but that's when it hits you to say, okay, because you're in the hotel, you're just kind of going, you're in the meetings. You could put that meeting space anywhere. It's going to be the same of things that you do, but being out and knowing that, hey, we get to opt to do something that's first time here, that's not lost on us. We discussed that in the meeting today, and what a great op, man. You really got to go for it, but yeah, we're pumped to be a part of it.
Dan, thank you for being here. Earlier this week, you spoke highly about Coach McDaniel. Do you enjoy going up against coaches you've coached with, or would you rather go against people you haven't coached with? And what are the challenges it presents?
No, good question. I don't have a preference of somebody that you know or somebody that you're super close with. That happens in coaching where there's some guys you're close with, but on that day, you're trying to go after them. Like 2 brothers that are fighting, like, no, you're not getting the upper hand. I'm going to get the upper hand. So I don't have a preference on that. But knowing Mike and going against him from the offensive side specifically, this guy's got a great mind. He knows how to attack. He's very well-versed, run game, passing game. So whoever hands full, but no preference, going or not going. Oftentimes the division games get more intense because you play them twice a year, but they're all good.
Go in the middle and then John.
Coach, my question is about Trey Amos. He had been playing a big role before the injury. From your perspective, what has been the biggest challenge for him in adapting his game from college to the NFL?
Yeah, it's a great question, and oftentimes the biggest adjustment, especially for the position that Trey plays, it's just the absolute speed that's on the field, and the wide receivers in the NFL. So he adapted quickly in terms of learning it. You could tell by the time he left the end of the preseason and came back for training camp, man, he was ready. And he really went for it into that spot and earned a starting job because of that. And so part of that competition is going through training camp and proving it and going. And he was certainly up for that challenge and delivered.
I'm going to try and squeeze a couple questions into one here. So first of all, what's it been like for you this week with Joe? What has he done to help you? And then secondly, you've talked about impacting consistency and execution. In 1 week, how can you do that? How tough is that to accomplish?
Sure. Well, first off, with Joe, it's different, but it's also really familiar. And he's somebody that I, really respect and enjoy working with. So having that space to go back and forth, that we know what that can vibe, that helps, John, because not having never done it before, you'd feel a little feeling out process, but we know what that battle rhythm can look like together. And it'll be all of us, man, to play like we want, the consistency, that's coaching, that's players, that's all of us. And so I was clear on that, and talking to the team about that too.
Hey, Coach. In looking at the practice this week, the connections, have you seen that mend even more as far as develop, establish, and then in practice, have you seen the dots connect even more this week?
I liked it a lot today in terms of the practice. It was our most speed of the week. We called on that last night to make sure, hey, this has to be part of our practice. This has to be there. I like that the guys connected this week. Obviously, doing their thing on their own dinners and that. Like the coaches were not involved with that, but their time together and also some of their families here too. That's a big deal. So what I wanted to see by today was this, and communication, the speed, the execution, and that's what I was, shooting for today. And so that's got to carry through into Sunday as we get, kind of the final preparations over the next day.
Hi, Coach.
Hello.
So definitely not the season that you were expecting, especially with the Jaden Daniels injury. So how are you motivating the guys? Because, last year, obviously, you were very close to the Super Bowl. So which motivation tactics do you use to say, like, we have to keep going and we have to keep trying?
Yeah, we definitely have had those conversations in a big way. We haven't hit our marks that we want to, and that's really important to us to find those standards together. And when you have them as a team and you fall below them, hey, man, what do you want to dig into? Because you can't just keep talking about it. You have to find your spaces to go do that. The best part about this game, it's the ultimate team sport, so you rely on one another to get that done. It's not one person that's going to, okay, it's just here and this is the reason. So collectively, I enjoy that process of doing that together, and that's what I want to see from our team. But as far as the motivation for that, it really comes from within, and how we want to play together.
Dan, what have you learned about the logistics of pulling off one of these trips and, adjusting to time and sleep and all that? And even though it's exciting, is it something you'd welcome to do annually, or would that be kind of difficult?
Good question, Barry. The NFL is here. No, I'm just kidding. Here's what I liked. There was a lot of thought that went into it. Even going in, do you leave right after a game and get there? Not a lot of people had done the research of if you went on a Monday and you flew overnight, and being there. I personally like getting the team together, and so I think, I don't know if there's a science behind that, but I know what that energy can look like when you connect. So having a time to go through that together to get here. I knew Wednesday you'd get going, not full speed, but yesterday we got to get full speed. Today, full speed work. I think that helps leading into a ball game. So I think you can do it. You have to be thoughtful about it, about when you go and when you don't. But so far, I liked this feeling and the idea of leaving on the Monday night. Tuesday, you arrive here in the morning. Tried to keep the players up, had a workout, could do some things, so then go to bed Tuesday night to get into a normal routine. We knew it hurts a little bit in the beginning of the week, but then as you get closer to game day, man, you're ready to perform. And so I think if you could do it, yeah, I think there's a way. Depending on where you go, I guess. But the people here have been really on it. Operations, when to get here, the staff, the security, like you can just feel everything organized. And so I like it.
So, Coach, some new Spanish NFL fans haven't chose their team yet.
Why
should they choose the
Yes.
Washington Commanders? And talk a little bit about your identity. What does it mean to be a Washington Commander today?
Yes. Being a Washington Commander at the core means being an absolute warrior. And that's what I want all of Spain to see us. And so every Commander fan that will be made over the weekend, that's a big deal. We actually talked about that. We get to put that on full display for the country, and we hope to earn that respect in this game.
Hi, Coach. Carlos Mateos from FNU Services. Before you were sitting here were the three running backs. They are being competing like in a kind of committee all the last weeks. But in the last match, Chris has maybe more protagonism than the other two. Before he has the shoulder injury, he was also named captain. Will we continue in this line? Will we continue Chris having more playing time than the other two, or you will be in a committee also?
Yeah, you'll hear a term that I'll use. It's called a hot hand, and what that means is sometimes somebody's feeling it or has a better, feel for it on this game or this scheme, and will lean into what would be considered a hot hand. The good news, these are three competitors that really support one another, so that makes coaching them pushing each other, taking it to the next space, really important. Where Bill is a rookie and they're helping develop him. J-Mac's the most veteran of the group and has the most insights to share, but he's very consistent. So hot hand would be the way I would describe it. And they all get some carries, but someone usually establishes himself. Doesn't have to be for the whole year. Sometimes it might even be just for that game. And we've got confidence in them.
Take two more. So on the left.
Here, Coach. You talked a lot about the nice things about these trips, but can you elaborate a little bit about the difficulties and what's the toughest things for the teams that are making these trips?
Sure. The toughest things is probably adapting to a new environment where the guys come to train and practice. And so how to get that all set up when you're on a normal road trip, you practice at your own facility and then pack up and go play. When you do an extended trip, now there's where do I go for treatment? Where do I go for, the recovery work, the locker room? And so finding those spaces and getting into that vibe, it takes a few days. And so the first day coming, where do I go to change? Where do I go to do this? But if you have a few days of that, then you can find the routine. As any ball player would say, routine is very important. And so the more quickly you can adapt to that, you can get into that routine, I think, anywhere. But you do have to have the disciplined, to go through it in each space.
Then usually politics is not like the topic in the locker room, but President Trump was really present in the last few weeks with the Washington Commanders, especially against the Lions. Do you address this as a head coach in the locker room, or is politics not a topic at all?
It's not a topic in our locker room. We have what in the NFL a month dedicated to recognizing military men and women, and it's called Salute to Service. And during that month, it hits differently in Washington, D.C. because there's so many military leaders. So seeing all of those leaders at the game, including the president, I thought what a cool honor, to be part of the NFL, knowing that they support so much of the servicemen and women. So I was certainly proud to be a part of that. But as far as the politics go, the guys really stay connected onto the events that are most specific to them, and oftentimes you don't want that to be a division. And so on this particular team, it's a very tight and connected group. But